Hello everybody and welcome back. So very soon we will be seeing the opening of a brand new chess club at Jurong Spring Community Centre. This will be headed by Grandmaster Kevin Goh and his team from the Chess Against COVID as well as the SG Chess United teams. Now to celebrate the launch of this new chess club, they organized a kickoff tournament just last weekend during the Singapore National Day celebrations. As you can see, we have the promotional poster here, the SG ChessHub Jurong Spring National Day Blitz Championships 2021. And I was fortunate to be part of the NUS contingent that was sent to play in this online tournament. Now you can see all the details in this tournament, so I won't go into them in too much detail. You only need to know that this was an 11 round Lee Chess Swiss tournament. Blitz time control, 3 minutes plus 2 seconds of increment. Right. Yeah, so I had a pretty decent finish, finishing 6.5 points out of 11. And here you can see my scorings. I think I didn't do too badly against the playing field. My final ranking was about 50 plus ranking out of close to 200 participants. So I am definitely quite happy with that. So definitely there are things that I could have done better. So for today and the next few live streams, I will be doing a very simple recaps of the games that I played. Note that this will not be very exhaustive analysis because I haven't actually had the chance to look at these games since the day of the tournament itself. Right. So for today I will be going through the first 3 to 4 games depending on how much time I have. Right. And then in subsequent live streams, maybe the next 2 or even 3 live streams, I will be looking at the rest of the 11 games. So games 1 to 4, let's go. Okay, so without further ado, let's go into the first game. Let me just change the scenery for you. Give me some time. Alright, fantastic. Okay, so game 1. I'm taking the white pieces against an opponent who is significantly rated much lower than me. As you can see at the top. I open with my very trademark d4, d5, c4, and over here I was fully expecting them to play something like e6 or c6, and I respond accordingly. Instead, black plays a move I completely did not expect to happen, knight to f6. Why I am not expecting this move is because it is such a bad move. Let's say after pawn takes, knight takes, e4. Oh, congratulations, black, you just gave white the center for free. But the problem is because I was not expecting this. Yes, I'm in NUS right now, by the way. If you heard the jungle file beside me, and yeah, this is LD3 right beside the forest. Yeah, you hear a lot of these noises, but can't be helped. Anyway, where was I? I was saying that knight f6. I completely wasn't expecting this move because it was such a bad move, and because of that, I just played an autopilot over here, and I went for knight to c3. Yeah, right. I mean, queens can be declined. You always play knight to c3. So knight to c6, and now if I go here, this pawn is a bit loose, right? And because this is a blitz game, I didn't really go and calculate that much. I just took. And I think here, white still can go for e4. And after this, it becomes a Grunfeld sort of position. Let's say this. Except that black can no longer play c5, right? Unlike the Grunfeld defense. So this is actually not so good for black anymore. But instead, I went for knight to f3. I wanted to play safe over here. Yeah. But even though I think I should have taken more risk, honestly. Anyway, after knight takes c3, pawn takes c3, I'm happy with this position. And black plays what I feel is the move that offers the most resistance here, bishop to g4. But because of the e4, bishop takes f3, I do have a choice. Do I take the queen? Do I take the pawn? I go for the extremely wacky variation. I recapture the pawn. What's the idea? I have double pawns. First of all, note I haven't really castled kingside, so I don't have to castle. I can just put my rook here and eventually attack down this file if I want to. Secondly, you see what I have here. I have this very nice pawn center, so I'm very happy with that. And third of all, you see what I have for my bishops. Oh, look at all these wide open diagonals. If I can put back this bishop on h3, this will be very nice. It would be very nice for my bishop. I have quite easy development now. So really, how white wants to continue here is to it, it is really to just finish your development, develop your bishops, and just try and roll your pawns out the center. Yeah, f4, e5, d5, and yeah, something will happen eventually. Black plays e6. Yeah, that's an okay move. You develop this bishop. You also deny white of this long diagonal over here. Bishop at f4. So I just continue on with development as per normal. e5. And yeah, I take. Yes, I mean, first of all, free pawn. But yeah, do note that I am sort of slightly surrendering this pawn center now, even though it's still very, it is still quite cramping in white's position. Yeah, so black definitely is not having a good time here. In fact, if I flip the board right now, yeah, it's not looking good for black. I mean, where's this bishop going to go? There's no good squares for it. He has to come here, possibly, or here. Yeah. Anyway, let's go back. And let's see how this continues. Queen takes d1, rook takes d1. I'm happy to trade queens. Right. First of all, I have up a pawn, so of course I will. I'm always happy to trade down the material. And I have this, and I still have the center. Bishop e7, bishop b5, castles, and you see king to e2, like what I said earlier, I don't have the castle. In fact, now I play king to e2 because the queens are off the board. I know very soon endgame will arrive. And what better way to connect my rooks? And if eventually, I always have the flexibility to either double up on this file or double up here, depending on where black plays his pieces. Right. SC Chess Streamers, yeah. Hello, Magnified Boss. Good to see you here. Right, so king to e2 and a6. Now the question is, does white take? Or do I retreat? Or do I do nothing? No, of course I don't do nothing, that is stupid. But if I take, yeah, I give black a pair of double pawns. And I have this invasion square, of course. Looking good for white. But black has counterplay as well, in the form of this open b file. So I don't really want to give him that. And that's why I choose to play bishop to a4. And another reason I go there is because after something like this, now this bishop has a new life on this diagonal. First of all, it's eyeing down this square. So let's say in the future, if g6, h4, h5 takes, you cannot recapture. Right? You reviewing your own game? Yeah, I am. Yeah, from this recent tournament in the Jurong Spring online Blitz championships from last Saturday. And another square that I can see for this bishop here would be d5. Yep. You won? Nah, I didn't win. 6.5 out of 11 points. How is that a win? Yep. Anyway, a5 and yeah, like I said, bishop to d5. I like this square for the bishop. Now you force black to make a decision. And rook to a6 is played. Now this rook might have the potential to cause some trouble for me eventually, because he can always swing over to the open g file and try and contest any attack that I have eventually. But of course it's not an immediate threat now, so I can keep that in mind for later. Yeah. Anyway, now what does white do here? Well, I already made a commitment with bishop to d5, and that sort of closes this file, right? I mean, of course I can take. I think this is playable. This might be playable, yeah. And then after that I double, because I think black is pretty much forced to do this, or maybe some, possibly this, to try and put pressure here. Yeah. No, I think this will be a pleasant position for white. Yeah. But instead I went for another plan. So I say, okay, this file is closed. I go for the other file. Like I said, I always have two options at my disposal due to this pawn structure. G6, natural move by black. You try and defend this weakness. The problem here is that it also creates a hook for me to try and blow open the king side. Say for example, one day I'm just going to go in with this pawn advances, and then when that happens, your black's king side is just going to be completely blown apart. Plus, I have this bishop eyeing on this diagonal. Bishop to h6 with the d8. So you see, I'm bringing all my pieces over to the king side. And f4. I also considered the rook g2 and then just doubling here before I play f4, but I felt that f4 was more forcing. And especially in the blitz game, you do want to play as many forcing moves as you can, because that's where all the tactics start to flow out of. And when you're playing blitz, that's really what you are looking for. Oh, and by the way, the sky is getting a lot darker here. I think the rains are starting to come back. Yeah, that's why you see that the camera is, the lighting is really not so good now. Yeah. Okay, you can just hear my ugly voice as I drone on. I think the quality of the video is in the analysis, not my face. Don't look at my face, man. Come on. Yeah, so I shall go back to the game. I digress too much. B4. Yes, black wants to generate counterplay here. I'm not too afraid. Oh, okay, wait. Let me try to remember. What did I play here? Oh, yes, I played c4. c4 to reinforce his bishop. Now I do have to be careful as well, because black does have the threat of this. So I need to make sure that my attack goes through faster than his threat. Yeah. Right. I mean, he can always advance this queen side pawn majority, and then I will be in trouble. Bishop to c5, trying to activate his pieces, and h4. So as you can see, now my plan is set into action. I'm advancing down. I'm going to blow open using this hook on g6. Sorry, my mouse. Goodness. There we go. Okay. Knight to d4 check. Yeah, actually that is a good move. I actually did not anticipate that. But it's still alright for me, because after king to f1, and here actually black just blundered outright with knight to c2. And see what's the problem after this series of moves. Let's say if I go back here, between this position and this. Not sure if you guys see the tactic. But now I can just take. And why? Because this rook is hanging. Like I said, when you're attacking, when you're playing all these forcing moves, all the tactics will naturally come out. And that's even more true for Blitz. Yeah. But truth be told, I actually spent like quite a bit of time here. I actually didn't spend that much time. I spent more time here calculating about 35 seconds down to, I spent about 10 seconds here calculating what happens after this move, and then I realized I had this. Of course I was seeing, would f4, would f5 or h5 be able to work. How's the competition like? I actually did mention about it at the beginning of my live stream. 11 rounds of online Blitz, 3 minutes plus 2 seconds. The playing field is definitely very strong. If you go and look at the hyperlink, I think I will post it on the Twitch and the YouTube video descriptions after this live stream. If you look at it, there are definitely a lot of 2K rated players, titled players at the top, like Jing Yao, Nima, Terry Chua, all the Singapore titled players they were playing in this tournament. The playing field was about 200. That was really massive for a Singapore online tournament. I finished around 50 with 6.5 points out of 11, so I'm happy now. I'm satisfied. But definitely more can be done. Anyways, here again I'm digressing too much. So like I said, bishop takes f7, that tactic, and after king takes, rook takes. Goodbye the black, basically. True. He still can hope for some counterplay with this. But I think after this, Black sort of felt that they were gonna that they just felt very unsettled and just gave up the fight because he played this really series of really weird moves over here. And after this, yeah, and after this actually White resigned. Because even though optically it looks like Black could get something going on the queen side, it doesn't matter because he's not going to be able to stop mate from happening. Right? Yeah, sure. By all means, have your queen, man. I'll give you a queen. I will have your king. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So yeah, a respectable start to the beginning of the tournament. Definitely a few inaccuracies here in my opening. I should stop playing all these automatic moves at the start. Right from here, instead of automatically playing c3, I should have just taken and then play e4. Yeah, but still I managed to win this, so yeah, I'm happy. Start to the first game. Okay, so that's game 1 done, and oh my goodness, there's actually a lot of time for one game. I need to shorten the time because I'm going through like 3 to 4 games today. Yeah, so the second game I'm taking Black, and my opponent slow hand 73. I did a bit of intel on him. That's Sashi Jayakumar, quite a high rated player in Singapore chess. Yeah, I played one Blitz game against him very long time ago in 2012 or 2013, and yeah, I basically got slaughtered by him back then. So let's see what happens in this rematch. I'm taking the Black pieces now. So round 2, let's go. E4, C6, my favorite Caro-Kann defense. D4, D5, E5, that's the advance, one of the most principled ways to play against the Caro-Kann. Now, main line here goes bishop to B5, right? Let's bring out the bishop before you play E6. Here, I've been experimenting around with a different line, C5 immediately, challenging the center. The idea here is that after D takes C5, which is played in the game, yeah, I have wasted 2 moves moving this pawn twice, but White has pretty much given up this center. And to note, I have not played E6, so I still have the threat of moving my bishop out. Right. Well, over here I went for E6. Yep. It blocks in my bishop, sure. But now I'm trying to get this back. And White no longer has this center. So it's sort of like an improved advanced French for me. Definitely another playable variation here is knight to c6, but it's a lot more complicated and you need to analyze a lot more lines over here. I go for the simpler e6. Knight to f3, I think a3 is one of the more testing moves for Black over here. The idea is b4, you want to hold on to this pawn. It doesn't matter. Yeah, let's say a3 takes and b4, Black's in a bit of trouble. Yeah. But anyway, knight to f3 played. Bishop takes c5, and now you do note that after this bishop moves out, White no longer has this option to target this pawn because of the knight here. Right, that's why I can take bishop takes c5, bishop to d3, and now we just develop as per normally in almost in similar fashion to the advanced French, where I'm just placing my pieces in the optimal squares to try and put pressure over here. And honestly, I am quite happy with the placement of most of my pieces, except for the one very obvious one, which is this bishop over here. Always the infamous French light squared bishop that I have to solve eventually. Yeah. Knight b d4. Can I take here? I'm honestly not sure whether that was the correct decision, but I still felt that I could get something going against this weak pawn over here. And also it does free up my bishop a little bit. That's why I decided to just go for it. And after a few more developing moves, I start to realize that maybe my play wasn't so accurate after all. Because look at this. I have most of my pieces on the queen side. I'm definitely going for something there, right? But White has a lot of counterplay over here. This knight is not very well placed actually. It's not very well placed. It should be here, trying to guard, but the pawn is over there, so that's not an option. And I think I thought for quite some time in this position on on how to continue. But I think I didn't choose the right move. I played rook b8. Hoping that I could still go for something on the queen side, you know. But the problem is that black's attack is actually faster over here. I think what I should have played really was this, something like this, trying to hold this position and then bring all my pieces back to hold the king side over here, because white's attack definitely will be faster over here as compared to any counterplay that I have. Well, anyway, that wasn't played. I played rook a8 instead. h5, knight to f8, and now it is starting to look quite bad for me. I calculated that here I would push a pawn, and I thought, okay, I'm safe. He has nothing. But then this changes things. Because now look at this. I have this whole series of dark square weaknesses over here. My knight is doing jack shit. He has many moves like this, like this, like this. All his pieces are going to come in. And meanwhile, what's the best piece of on my side that is best placed to defend all these weaknesses? It is this bishop over here. And it's on the other side of the universe. I need to find time to bring it back. It is not easy. It's not easy. I chose queen to c6 in this position. A very awkward move, but I really couldn't see what else to do. I had to bring this bishop back without delay. Bishop to g4, good move, you know, so that if I come in, which I did play, I could very quickly snap it off. Yeah, I chose not to play because that would just give him a free tempo for his queen to come in. Yeah. And after this, really, the queen does come in. And what I noticed is that after knight to d7, yes, I am just in time to stop the queen from coming in and delivering mate. But now the other knight comes in. And how am I going to stop this? Really, I was down to the last 22 seconds on my clock. And the only move here that I could spot that holds things together for black was f5. Hold on. You're just giving me a free pawn. And you're weakening this. Yeah, but I mean, first of all, what other option do I have? And secondly, I have this. Using the pawn as a shield to block. And I am barely holding everything together. My pieces are still in very bad shape, but I am surviving. That's the key here. I'm surviving. Right. I think here was when my opponent started to take more time to think. Right. Let's see what. No, he didn't take a lot of time for this move. Knight to e5 check. But when I see that, I was happy to trade and release some of the pressure. Right. And really over here, even though white has the protected pass pawn, he doesn't really have much of an attack to begin with. Right. Yes, there is always this option of wait. Oh no, sorry, it's white's move. I played bishop to d7. Yes. Yeah, so over here I did see that there was an option for white to take on g6, just sacrifice the bishop and then try and push this pawn, but now I have to h1 and everything holds together. Still unpleasant for black to play, but I am holding. That's the key here. Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah, the clouds are going away and you can hear the cicadas now. I actually like this location in NUS. Not a lot of people come here. That's why I do my live streams. Yeah, anyway, let's go back to the line. After this, bishop to d7. Rook ac1 by white. Okay, fine. b6, b3, b8 takes. Every trade I am happy to make because it releases the pressure. Even though I am aware that I still face a difficult endgame in front of me. And rook to c1. Rook to c6 takes. Maybe this would have been better, but just trying to bring this bishop out. But yeah, I'm down to my last 10 seconds, so I didn't really think much. And now actually white does play this sacrifice over here. Let me see, how long did it take for him to think? He had 29 seconds, so he thought for about 8 plus seconds on this. So didn't really give much thought into it. But definitely it feels natural, especially now that my rooks are off the board. The problem here is that after h8 g6, like I said, this pawn is not so well supported because I'm just in time to hold everything together. Queen to c8. Now to queen to h6, queen to h8. You see? If he gives a check now, I am safe. I am safe and this pawn is going to fall. I will run away with this extra bishop and I'll win this endgame. So f3 was played instead. And now I really do not have anything better to do than to hold this position and hope for the best. Yeah. Okay, correction. I do have something to do. Try and cause havoc on my bishop. Yeah. And here, the objective is clear. Of course, I want to take this and stuff. But after this, the threat is that if I play this now, there is check. I can't go in, and I lose a queen. So at this point, I really have to give back the bishop. I'm happy with that because I survived this attack. And you see that over here, both sides are pretty much down to our last 5 seconds already. It's 3 plus 2, so we are practically living on increment over here now, right? But here really, I think both of us were panicking already, down to our last few seconds. So when you're low on time, what do? You play the most forcing moves. Check. And after king to e3, you go for forcing moves. Of course, I was hoping for something like this or this. Yep, I gave check, he pawn. And after this, we decided that thanks to our very low time, I think both of us agreed to a 3-foot repetition over here and call it a draw. The question is, could I have done something to try and push in this position? Say this, yeah, I can try to take the pawn and hope to play on. But then again, do remember that Queen 9 games are so tricky. I learned that the hard way in the World Uni Championships. And let's say after something like this, you're just Black is going to be in a bit of trouble. I think that Black's best continuation is this and try to. Really, there's nothing better to do and to keep checking and hope for the best. Because the moment the queen comes in and drops off all these pawns, like these pass pawns are going to be too dangerous. Yeah. Also do note that I don't think Black should trade here because is a draw at best or White will be better because of this pawn. The reason why I said it might still be a draw is because this pawn is tying down the Black's king, so he can't actually get in. He can't actually go in. Yeah. But on the other hand, my king is being tied down as well, so very hard to say in this position. Yeah, but anyway, at this point, both of us agreed to a draw, 3-4 repetition, and I was happy, to draw a higher rated player. The 2200, I'm 1800. His FIDE rating is about 1800, so I'm definitely happy. Also, definitely, I should look more at my middle game, especially trying to think of where I place my pieces, especially, yeah, and try to learn this opening a bit more. Alright, so that's game 2. Game 3, I'm Black again, and I'm not going to spend too much time in this game because after a few moves, it is evident that my opponent probably just started to learn how to play chess, given the way they played, because after this, you just drop the queen. Yeah. And I'm not going to go on anymore because the rest of the game was just a mop-up operation. Yep. So that's game 3. Let me just check whether the stream is still running. I'm still getting comments. It's still, yes, nothing is wrong. Looks like NUS Wi-Fi doesn't betray me today. Alright, that's it. Now let's get to the last game that I will look through today. I don't know who this guy is, Zerudog, but his rating definitely tells me he's gonna be a tough game today. I white d4, my favorite opening again. Knight to 6, c4, c5, Benoni defense. Now, whenever I play the Benoni, I face the Benoni. I like to employ this anti-Benoni line. Knight to f3, not pushing, which is very very theoretical, by the way. And after c takes d4, knight takes d4. I think one of the more common continuations here is knight to c6, challenging white immediately. White shouldn't take. White should just continue development as per normal and hold on the center, possibly play e4 in the future and establish the Morozzi bind. But anyway, here black doesn't play that. He goes for e5, an immediate challenge. And of course, white has to go back. And here I'm inviting black to overextend themselves by playing e4. If that happens, e4, then I just go back. And now my knight cannot be dislodged after e3. Shall b2, I have a very happy game. Yeah. Of course, black doesn't do that. He's 2600. So knight to c6 is played, thus reinforcing the center. And now both sides just develop per normal here. Yeah, so at this point, I thought for a while in this position. I think about that. I wanted to stream my games as well, but no time so far. Wait, who are you? Oh, hi, hi, Sinjun. Yeah. Yeah, I thought you're the same guy that was commenting earlier. Hello, good to see you here. Yeah, anyway, bishop to c5. Now this starts to take on a bit of a very similar nature to is this first game? No, this is my fourth game. Yeah, you can rewatch the live stream later. Yeah, maybe next time I should chop up my video and Twitch live streams into timestamps. I know that it can be done on YouTube because Gotham Chess definitely does that. But I'm not so sure about Twitch. And definitely it's going to involve a lot more work. But I'll see if that can be done. Yeah, anyway, like I say, bishop to c5 here does remind me of some lines of the Budapest Gambit, where there's a lot of pressure on f2. For information, for those who are wondering what's the Budapest Gambit, that's c4 and e5. E5, where after this, basically black's idea is that you are lining up this onto f2. Yeah. So that does remind me a bit of that line that I looked at earlier, where black does have this threat of knight to g4 coming in. I could play h3 to stop it, but why would I do that when I have e3 instead? Stop clamping down on this bishop and developing this in the process. But do note that by playing e3, this is also a very committal move because it locks in this bishop here. So that means that in the future, the bishop really, what else can it develop? It's really other good squares here or a3. Yeah. Unless I waste more moves going e4 and then hoping to develop this. But basically by playing e3, I pretty much just I pretty much commit to a very specific position already. Yeah. Castles, bishop e3, everything so far so good. Yeah, over here, of course the threat is very obvious. You are going to push. You are going to double attack on me. And what better way than to counter attack? Alright. I think queen c2 here is playable, but this does feel so much more forcing because after takes, you cannot play this because I will be wreaking havoc on your position. Right. So that is bad. And after yeah, you obviously cannot play you cannot play d5. And eventually you have this. Why didn't you decide to develop your dark square bishop before e3? Yeah, like I was saying earlier, there was always the threat of this. And how do I deal with it? e3. But yes, you are right. It definitely commits me to a certain kind of position where I have to develop my dark square bishop to a certain position. Yeah, e3 to stop this pressure on f2. Anyway, let's get back to the original game. So after this exchange, Black obviously does not go for f5 or e5, he goes for the normal d6. And now everything goes on as per normal. I think I could have... No, sorry, it's black fold. It's black fold. Queen to e6 and queen to c2. Of course, yeah, lining up for this. Yeah, lining up for this. Just keeping the pressure. And here it's surprising because my opponent seemingly just planted a pawn with this. 2 to c8. I'm like, wait, what? You give me a free pawn, yeah, so be it. Bishop takes h7. Then after king to h8, bishop e4, I run away with a free pawn. Do note one thing though, is that when I am taking this free pawn, I also waste a little bit of tempo. And now, I do have to be careful that this pawn is slightly loose. This queen is under some indirect attack. I do feel that the best move for white here would be to play b3 and secure the whole position. And in fact, after a6, yeah, I really should have foreseen what black was planning here. Really, they were planning b5. Otherwise, there's no other reason why they would play a6. But here I had a long think, and I was considering, okay, how do I get out the rest of my pieces? Obviously, this bishop is a solution. It is a problem that I have to solve. And if I can get it out to b2, then actually most of my problems are solved. And I could even consider something like this. And then putting pressure here. Yeah. Which person are you? Wow. Why are people randomly... Hello Robert, it's you again. Oh, why are you asking me which... Oh, you mean which side I'm taking in this game? I'm taking white. Yes. Yeah, anyway, I'm taking white. Thank you very much. Yeah, anyway, I was considering a lot in this game. Like how to develop. Of course, b3 does seem the most principled. And then play bishop b2. Even though it's still slightly locked in, you still can hope for long-term pressure on this diagonal. Black probably will play this, in which case I will safely just take and try to step my queen up. Sorry. Yeah, something like this. And honestly, after they trade, black doesn't really have much going on. And I could switch gears from the d file to the c file anytime to try and fight black over here. But instead, something came to my mind, something that was more forcing. And I thought of this, a3. And the reason, of course, is he stopped this, but I was starting to get a bit ambitious here. I wanted to go for this b5 as mentioned, and maybe in the future I could go for c5 if the position permits it. But actually, this was not really it's a3 mistake. Yes, I'm going to tell you now, a3 is a mistake. And the reason why it is a mistake is because this fundamental idea of a3 and b5 is actually a flawed idea. Why? Simply because of the reason that the positioning of my pieces are not ready for a b5 and c5, b4 c5 pawn push. First of all, this pawn is already loose. Black is going to play this, going to hit, and the rook comes in as well. And when that happens, this queen is also indirectly exposed. Secondly, what the hell is my bishop doing here, man? It's not doing... The bishop has no business on c1. It needs to get out. It needs to get out, and the rook needs to come here. That's the key. When that happens, then I could consider a3, b4 in my arsenal. But no, it wasn't. So I went for this premature pawn push. a3. My opponent anticipates it. Bishop to a7, and even though this looks like does a retreat, it's actually it actually has another intention, which is that you remove another of your pieces and you increase the pressure on this queen over here. And here I realized that okay, fine, so b4 is no longer so effective because because this pawn is going to be loose. So I switch gears at this point and I say, okay, let's go for b3. b3, okay, fine, holding this position. I mean, this is common, right? This is common, the pawns here protecting each other. You see this many times, but in this particular position, no, actually it's not so good. Because now white can go for the following idea. No, sorry, b5. Strikes away immediately with b5. And if I go away, let's say queen to c2, he will just take. I'm left. Let's say something like this. He will just take, and I'm left with this long-term weakness over here. I'm not fully developed, so who's going to get control of this b file? Most likely, black is going to win the battle for the b file first, because I need to spend time moving out this bishop over here. Yeah. Oh, hello Dino Rob. I see that you're spectating my game. Yeah, do give a shout out if you are in the chat. If you haven't commented already. Yeah, anyway, that wasn't played. I went for c takes b5. Yeah, is any 5 a move here? Yeah, definitely it's a move here. Can I request computer analysis or not? Sure, you can after this. I'm refraining from turning on the engines doing this live analysis because yeah, you know, like engines do tend to favor certain positions, and also when you're training, you really don't want to rely too much on the engines. Yeah, but definitely we can do it after this game. Yeah, sometimes certain Blitz games I do it when I like really have no time, and then I use the learn from your mistakes function. Actually, that one has been quite useful. Yeah, anyway, I'm digressing a bit too much. Let's go back to this position. Yeah, c takes b5 here. C takes b5. And now knight to d4, you see. Black can afford to make this move because the line of attack to the queen has already been cleared. So now it's already very difficult for white to play here. You notice the consequence of playing a3 here, which is that now this hangs. This hangs and now the position opens up and black pieces are just going to come in. The pressure is definitely very real for white. And actually after queen to d3, you notice every single move that the knight makes, there is a threat. I have to react to it. And actually after this, oh my goodness. All of a sudden you realize that this bishop cannot be saved. Oh, I mean, yes, you can save the bishop, but then you give out the queen. Fine. And actually after this, in the space of a few moves over here, I realized that I had no choice. I have to give out this bishop, and I think I resisted for a few more moves, but the position by this stage was pretty much decided now. Yeah, I was already a piece down. My opponent definitely knows how to convert this position as a 2600, so I will not show the rest of the game. Right. But what I do really want to show here is that the critical position really was here at the point a6. I should really have anticipated that this was the intention. How did you lose a... Didn't I show you just now? Right? I will show it again because this is a recap. But after a6, b3 really should have been the most principled move over here, just playing safe and going for the center. Instead, I went too ambitious, a3, and after all this series of moves, suddenly the center opens up, and after this very powerful knight to d4, you notice this is happening, and then all the threats is too much more pieces to handle. Yeah. So after this, queen c2 back. Queen c2 back. Wait, sorry. What's going on here? Sinchen. With queen c2 back defending bishop to b3, attacking the queen. Ooh. Oh, you mean something like this? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wait, what? What? Sorry, I'm... okay, I see, Sinchen. I see what you mean. Yes. Yeah, this should have been done. What in the world was I thinking? But I mean, over here, I think black is still better lah. two bishops, the position is going to open. My bishop is still... Why didn't you play queen c2? Yes, I know. Thanks for pointing out now. You see, I'm blind. I should have played queen to c2. And Xinchen already pointed out, Robert pointed out as well. And yeah, but I think black is still better here. Even though it's... I am not obviously losing. Yeah. Yeah, define not possible because of queen takes c5, f5 maybe. Yeah, but I still think black is better here. It will be a tough game for white to continue. What white needs to do is to try and catch up in development and hope to trade down some of the pieces and hope to keep the position closed, which black is obviously going to try with... okay, if not d5, then possibly f5, something like this. Yeah. But yeah, oh my goodness, I completely missed queen to c2. What was I thinking? Okay. Very interesting. But still, I stand by my claim that a3 was a mistake here. Alright, so that's game 4 done and dusted. And like I said, I will only go through 4 games for today because in the interest of time, I have another lesson coming up at 6 o'clock. It's a night lesson and I need to go for dinner. The rest of the games, I will be continuing them in the subsequent live streams when I have the time. Yeah. Right. So actually, that's it for today. And yeah, thank you very much, guys. And this definitely was a very interesting tournament, truth be told. And look at your losses. Yeah, I'm going to look at all my games eventually. Right. I already went through the first 4 games, and as you can see, I have 3 losses. So eventually, I will get to them now, and the draws as well. Yeah. Yeah, but definitely this was a very great tournament. And I do hope to continue going for these tournaments and continue looking at these games, these recaps for the subsequent live streams. So yeah, if you have been enjoying my trashy live commentary, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my various channels. You can see them at the top of the screen. So yeah, thank you very much and see you another day.